Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Mary Rose and today I'm going to be doing a wrap up of all of the books that I read in October. This month was a little bit slower for me in terms of reading than September was. I was on a roll in September and I don't really know what that was about. I read like 8 books last month and this month I only read 5 unfortunately, but they were very good and I'm excited to tell you about them. So the first book that I got to read this month was The Gaps by Leanne Hall. This was my first arc that I've ever gotten to read, so I'm very excited about it. It follows 2 teen girls, Chloe and Natalia, after they find out that a girl from their school has been abducted. This book is so good. I usually don't have a hard time describing why I think books are good, but this book has left me speechless, honestly. It's so beautiful and devastating to read, and it goes really in depth about themes like art and creating and what your art says about you and grief and how we process it and how it can be healthy or not. And it's such a good book. It's so good. I literally don't know what else to say about it other than it is probably one of the best books that I've read this year. It comes out February 8th of 2022 and I will absolutely be getting a copy, oh my gosh. 5 out of 5 stars for sure. The next book that I read this month is The Hate U Give by Angie Thomas. This book follows Star, a 16-year-old black girl who witnesses one of her oldest childhood friends be shot and killed by a cop. I had to read this book for class and I'm honestly surprised that I haven't read it before this point. And I feel like you can't really talk about this book without acknowledging the fact that it is incredibly tragic, but it does a good job of portraying that tragedy, especially if you're someone who hasn't experienced anything remotely like what Star experiences throughout the book. On a more lighthearted note, I really enjoyed the characters and their dynamics. I thought they were really well written. 5 out of 5 stars. The next book that I read this month is One Last Stop by Casey McQuiston. One Last Stop follows August Landry, who falls in love with a mysterious stranger on the subway, only to find out that this stranger is a lot more mysterious than she bargained for. I'm not gonna lie, I had been putting this book off for a while, partially because I had read a lot of mixed reviews and I really wanted it to be good, but also it is a big book. It took me, there we go. It took a while to get through. It is kind of an intimidating book to start. But I really did enjoy it. I really liked the characters and their relationships. I thought those were very well written. It is, to an extent, kind of cheesy, but it's cheesy in a way that I'll allow it. I really enjoyed it, honestly. 4 out of 5 stars. The next book that I read this month was The Handmaid's Tale by Margaret Atwood. The Handmaid's Tale takes place in a super bleak dystopian society where women have lost pretty much all of their autonomy. I usually don't like dystopian books that are super bleak and hopeless like this book is, but for some reason this wasn't the worst. I had to read this for class and I'm not sure that I would have finished it had I had to read it on my own, like if I was just doing it for fun. But yeah, it wasn't the worst book that I've ever had to read for class. I don't know, I don't have a lot of thoughts on it other than it wasn't that bad. 3 out of 5 stars. The last book that I read this month is One for All by Lily Lainoff. This book takes place in 17th century France and follows Tanya de Batz, a talented fencer who struggles with a chronic illness. When her father is killed, she's sent to a finishing school, but rather than teaching its students how to find husbands, this school is a cover for female musketeers who have to stop a potential assassination plot against the King of France. This book was an absolute delight, and there's really no other way to put it. All of the characters are absolutely lovely, and the sisterhood, like the bond that grows between the 4 of them as the story progresses, is so wonderful and heartwarming, and I really, really loved it. The romance isn't my favorite, but I'm gonna kind of let it slide because I loved everything else about this book so much. This is another arc that I got to read this month, and it comes out March 8th, 2022. 4 out of 5 stars. So those are all of the books that I read in the month of October. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, you can go ahead and give it a thumbs up down below. And if you want to see more of my videos, you can hit the subscribe button that is also down there. I will leave links to my Twitter and my TikTok in the description if that's something that you're interested in. And thank you again for watching all the way to the end. It really means a lot to me, and I will see you next time.